that he was going to have a stronger case, and this the Abby MC stuff, which he thought would be probably, after any summary judgment motion, assuming that it went to more substantive discovery, now has become that he was going to have a stronger case and to do a summary judgment motion, which now impacts his case potentially. And so he's seeing it as a Hail Mary to try and say, well, after the date the video was exchanged, and therefore now there is more of a substantive basis rather than
got a shard for you.
To, kind of scrounge
interesting stuff
on allegations as opposed to unsubstantiated
See
evidence.
what you got.
Yeah, sure. I would say one thing I do find very, possibly very, I don't know if it's ironic.
Your Hellman's not on any payroll, not officially anyway, but he does pop up in GNT's confidential stacks. It's a Kang Tao subsidiary, Chinese corp. Kang Tao's been using them as a fig leaf for years. They're masked for more sensitive operations. All that clear?
I think without those, they might
Must be prepping him for a transfer.
How would you know?
Chinese corporal playbook's an open one to me. This looks like the old vanishing pigeon.
Decrypted map of upcoming Kang Tao convoy routes.
Think Hellman might be in one of them? Thing is, which one?
Take a look at the specs on this one. A lone AV, no ground support, no linked cargo manifest site.
Weird.
Sure, Kang Tao sometimes transports stuff unregistered if they want to push it on the table, but catch the load on this AV. Already approved in the system, but too low. So definitely no cargo on board. But there's a passenger list. Kang Tao security detail plus one VIP. Transfer from GNT.
Our boy Hellman.
That was the good news.
There it is.
So what's the bad news?
Bad news is the extraction site. Look, Night City airspace. All this.
No way to jack the transport without the NCPD picking up on it.
And here, we're too close to Kang Tao. We even give that AV a dirty look, their backup hustle will be on us. But right here's Jackson Plains. Narrow corridor, just outside the city, and just out of Kang Tao's reach.
Guess it's your lucky day.
Dead zone. I'll grab him there.
Gonna need a native to the area. Someone who'll set up the op, cobble together the gear.
And, if there's an argument to be made and the judge...
What kind of gear are we talking?
Cruising speed of an AV like that's 250 miles an hour. Ever tried to grab anything moving that fast? Even tracking her will be difficult. Plus, this model packs next-gen defenses.
So without real firepower, I'll be able to wave to Hellman as he zips past.
It's not about firepower. There are ways, and people who know them, or who can at least improvise on a theme.
So a native. Know any hick mercs?
Just one. Pan Am Palmer. She can't count on her clan anymore, but she's a true nomad. She knows those lands, and she will help you. Won't have a choice.
Won't have a choice. Does not sound enticing. Not for her, not for me.
Enticing comes at a price you can't possibly afford.
Can't possibly afford to blow this chance at nabbing Hellman.
Your operation, your call.
Got a bad feeling for you.
Strange. The nomads give the city and city folk a wide berth.
Varies by clan, by the connections they have, the depth of shit they're in. But you're right. Aldecaldos are rarely willing to do biz with the city.
Pan Am's got a different take?
Yep, on everything it seems.
Why's Pan Am gotta help me? I sense a catch. Pretty big one.
Occasionally, Pan Am moves merch for me. Last job?
And then you're applying the facts to the law to see whether or not the law has been tripped or
Fine, let me hear what you know.
So, what he's
You'll
going
go
to
there,
argue
get the
probably
merch
under
back,
summary judgment
wheels
motion
too.
is, I'm not disagreeing with the
Fine.
facts, I'm
All clear.
disagreeing with the law.
Thanks.
Get out of here.
Or that this cause
Good
of
luck.
action exists. And that's a matter of, okay, with this trip up on the
Hey, interested in some more?
Doing what?
A business opportunity. Cargo transport. Get from A to B, quick and quiet. Interested?
I'm listening.
It's simple. You go to the Kabuki waterfront, collect the package, give me a call, then I tell you how to deliver it. Very straightforward.
Everything except my pay.
Don't worry, there's a bonus in it for you. Imported and
Duty-free and geek.
yes, but also good. I knew we'd find it. One.
I could probably give you a better feel for how things are going to work after the 3rd. I don't know with the declarants if he's going to survive summary judgment, because the thing with summary judgment is that you're saying that all of the main facts are not in dispute, but there seems to be facts that are in dispute, right? And so
What would it mean to not survive summary judgment?
it would mean that it would go further on in the trial process, right? There's a motion. Summary judgment is basically where nobody's disagreeing on the facts; they're disagreeing on whether or not the law applies or not. That's the easiest way to boil it down.
Hello?
But where you have a situation like this, where Pixie's saying, for instance, the video
Hey,
was
Pan
sent
Am.
after the Cardi date.
Got your
and
number
Destiny's
from
saying
Rogue.
It wasn't sent
Name's
before
V.
the Cardi date.
Great.
That's
Where's
a
that
issue
old
of material
walrus wanna
fact
kick me
that
now?
they both disagree on, because that determines whether or not the law applies or not. Now, if they both agree to the fact that the video was never sent
Forget
before the
Rogue
Cardi
for a
date,
minute.
then you could
I
go
wanna
to
help
summary
you.
judgment, but I think that's a
very
material
kind.
fact. If anything, that
But
is
it's
a
far too little, far
issue.
too late.
Except the
So
Abby
tell
thing,
Rogue
right?
she can
He would have
eat
to
my
accept
shorts.
that Abby
Tell it to your
everything is
therapist.
true. Otherwise,
Calling
they
about
would,
your
like,
ride and the merch you
like
lost.
proof there or not. Like if it was
Interested?
anything that,
Or are you gonna tell me to
basically,
eat your
if you had
shorts
to
too?
apply like reasonability standard, would you have to
The
go
real
to
front yard
like
on
a
Virginia
jury for
Street.
that?
The one
To
hugging
sit
the
during
city line.
trial?
We'll
Right,
meet
so
there.
like let's say
See ya.
Abby, because I think Abby in her affidavit, it literally says she doesn't have links to the videos, but she has like messages she saved of her talking to other people about the videos she was sent, right? So it'll come down to like a jury making a call there. To determine what they think about. So I guess, right, I don't think that would be a fact. So you would have to agree, or Pixie would have to agree that it doesn't apply, I guess. Like for there to be a fact, right? If they're using Abby's affidavit to say, although apparently we have a case where Cardi has been applied retroactively for something published. We'll see how that works.
I was gonna ask actually, will it be likely that they'll make the argument that Destiny making available these links, although they were not sent to Rose initially?
You know what is birthday here en arepa con queso? The next one coming in 106.9, 30 principales, puro perreo.
That they never sought to delete any of these things.
So this is the thing that I'm most interested in the case about, to see how courts start to look at that.
Yeah, I would
To see whether or not publishing means sending and publishing. Because the way the law is written, it says makes available. Now, what does it mean to make something available? Does that mean because it's publicly accessible in a Google Drive link? I don't know. So that's my sole interest in the case, is to see how the court starts to look at stuff like this.
Yeah, and especially since it was on one of them was on a Google Drive link, and I know a lot of these people are older, and the Discord stuff probably confuses the crap out of them. But surely they understand the concept of being put on a Google Drive. So yeah.
He didn't send Pixie's video to Rose via Google Drive. Apparently, the Pixie video was provided to Abby via her affidavit via Google Drive. That is what is said there. It's not published. It is, it's not deploy. Why do I always forget this? I always forget the word. It is disclosed and transferred. Disclosed, making accessible is not public. So making accessible is the word here. Making accessible something.
I wonder if this is how they will on this really change. Maybe it's all changed. This is really interesting to see. This is kind of cool to see when cases
Speaking my name.
Wow, that is interesting.
worse now
Time
because
is
now people
business, so
can
I do
start
script, but just
forcing
triple seconds that are triple rhythms. Throwing up the dimes that I used to nation. One man's loose change, another's pension. It's time to be cap. This is reality, jam. You ain't got the juice, boy, where your battery pack. Well, shit, make it rain on them. Pick and roll flow, switching lanes on them. Swerving in the Broncos, shit's doing hostile. Crowds yelling encore and bang.
and so then you have
On Pixie's side, what I never stop.
Let me go.
shouldn't have to mortgage their house. I want to fundraise. Yeah. So 24 hours stream when? He's a lawyer. Sure. 24 hours stream when? I wish I had the fundraising capability. I do not.
Get Queeman in?
Listen, me and Queeman will do a 24-hour Drew Pavlov with all these like random political drifters who are in the like vaguely lib center lib space who really have no principles whatsoever. We can do a stream with those guys. Look. Easy.
Mama out the tripping, gotta make it out the bullshit. Dope all in my sock, I'm trying to make it double too quick. If you trying to talk, it should be money, no excuse. True Illuminati, I'm the Loomis. Riding on the water body, no fatty. Hyper focus on the papers, no daddy. Now I start a phone with the red. Real slick, yeah, slide on the fence. They don't wanna know, they don't want to go. Got them all back. You don't wanna see me go, you're mad at me. Depending on the dose, ride a Gucci Fendi dance. Like we both got matching clothes. Killers moving silent, riding like a hybrid. Pull up like a birthday and hit them with surprises. You gon' need a first aid and medical supplies, boy. Knock your ass back to a different time, boy. What you looking at? Tell me what you looking at. I be cooking up, east side where I do it at. The problem is, tell me what your problem is. Trust me, you don't want it with the problem, kids. What you looking at?
We're gonna keep going back and forth on the Twitters. Okay, we looked at Destiny's response to this, which was right here. Pixie responds and says, I have not lied about anything. The emails you have posted further suggest you reread the objection your legal counsel filed. Your legal team asked to file unredacted versions before the seal was granted, or strike them from the record. If this was truly a civil rights problem, why even suggest withdrawing/striking from the record? Wouldn't the demand only be to know the identities? That's, to me, so Destiny's argument was, they're lying, they're perjuring themselves, and they're hiding their identities.
But my fit hits 6G. So they see me, I'm flying in a crib. Satellite high, I'm higher than a blimp. Big money, eat Italian with the shrimp. Thin chicks, big hips, all baddies give me lip. Hits big time, knock it out the park. Yo, chick, it's a run and slide in the park. Fans wanna get
Where he was sitting there just saying for doing this that they should be sanctioned.
Include that! They should be sanctioned. Fire! Why is that positive that the other side is perjuring themselves? Why would they get away with defending yourself. How is that not defending yourself?
There's a difference between filing something and not making it public on the record, but still having access to it. You see a lot of times this become an issue when it comes to things like finances or other personal information as it relates to divorce cases.
Target acquired!
Obviously, there's a lot of information, particularly to children, on the record or that gets sealed because of the child. Doesn't mean that they don't have access to it as far as
Shoot to kill!
are concerned. It just means that the public which is the purpose of this seal, right? It's to prevent people from accessing data and just like or whatever, and then just unredacted.
Go, go, go!
That reminds me. Okay, so me and Justico were talking about this before you came on, I think. And I said, we don't know because we still don't know. Is there like some specific rule that is being broken by the council, by sentencing redacted only in name? That says that any information that you want to be redacted, including witnesses. So he's literally being tantrum.
Any information you wish to have redacted, right? You could have names redacted. You could have specific intimate details redacted if you're talking about like a sexual assault case or something like that. There's a number. It's not just to information. In fact, the rules, generally speaking, are going to favor.
Wow. There you go, Justical. So you want to start it's not fair.
Okay, so
He just
from my
wrote
understanding towards
his
them, and from my understanding under seal, the rules were contemporaneously you file unredacted copies with the opposing counsel. You send unredacted copies to opposing counsel.
Yes, you do.
And they didn't do that, so that seems to be the thing he was upset about. One of many things he was upset about.
Yeah, you can be upset about that, but if they've already promised it to you, then let them not send it to you and then make a complaint to them in writing in regards to that. And then if they still don't send it to you, even after the judge grants it, then you can make your complaint. Right? Like, this is one of those things that if you go back to the hearing at which the judge had to begin with, where he was admonishing both sides to sit there and say, you have to work this out. So to say, hey, we're going to file these affidavits, we're going to also file them under seal. Once the seal is granted, we're going to go ahead and give them to you. You know, urgency isn't of the matter.
Sick Monkey Chamber, thank you for the...
And I agree with that. So really, it just becomes a matter of... And I could see them being upset, for instance, if the court had taken, let's say, 2 months to get around to granting the seal. Right.
Sure.
Okay, then you can have a more substantive conversation. But what was it, like a week? Is that?
Yes, it's fast.
It wasn't that long. It might be more than that, though. It could be closer to 3. Let me check. I thought May 3rd was the first time they filed these affidavits. I thought May 3rd was the date they filed these sealed affidavits.
Yeah, so May 3rd. Yeah,
2.5 weeks, basically.
Yeah, okay, 2 weeks. Keep in mind, we're talking business days, too. So, really, in reality, it wasn't even, it was just over 2 weeks.
Yeah. I assume that also, if you really thought, so his original argument was, they're perjuring themselves, they're just lying, and then if this gets denied, if we actually denied, if the motion is denied, they get the police back without me being able to question those people. I assume that if he wanted to serve discovery to those people, he would put that in some kind of motion before a judge, or maybe even in the hearing here, and say, I need those identities to question those people because I think these affidavits were filed in bad faith, right?
Well, not just that, but you can always sit there and say, I'm still interested in what they had to say, and I still want to question them. Or especially when he already served discovery on Abby anyways, to sit there and say, like, I'm interested in what you have to say. So, there's always that opportunity as well, and again, that's a discussion that you can have. If you truly think that they were filing it in bad faith, you can bring that up with the judge.
Yeah, which I think he should, right? Like, he is claiming that, he has claimed multiple times publicly that he knows that people are perjuring themselves. I think he absolutely should be bringing this up with the judge. In fact, I think you should take him as like a total liar in public if he doesn't do so. But that's not like, hey, we think that these people were compelled to give false testimony. I don't know why he wouldn't be saying that. He's perfectly happy to say it publicly.
Depose them and ask them about that, right? Like, that's the purpose of depositions, to be able to have that discovery and be able to ask those questions, or interrogatories, which are just written versions of a deposition, right? They're questions that you write down and then they provide written answers in response. But again, you're 6-7 months out from the end of discovery, and the court's turning around in 2 weeks, pretty much on the day, to respond to a motion to seal. That's pretty good. And in those 2 weeks, are you really going to be able to? Do you really need those names in those 2 weeks? I mean, you can argue, you can make the argument, but and maybe the judge will have something to say about that. Maybe he will admonish them to sit there and say, hey, this was not appropriate. You should have been doing this. You should have provided them contemporaneously. But can I make the argument that it truly prejudices Destiny's ability to mount a defense? No. I personally don't see it that way. But that's my view of things. And I would hope that by now that they have served the unredacted copies to Destiny's counsel. I don't see why there shouldn't be.
Well, I think they filed them with the court. Like, so Pacer, I believe, counsel should be able to access the documents.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
What's the issue?
Yeah, I don't know. That was my whole point. So in the emails, Destiny's counsel say, well, I don't see the urgency for like you to receive these copies ahead of us filing them with the court. And I think that's totally reasonable, right? There's not real urgency here.
And reminder, again, the way that the rule is structured in a perfect world, wait until the motion is granted before you file anything to begin with.
Why are you doing this to me?
Right? You would file a motion saying, hey, we have these declarants, we have under affidavit, we would like to redact their names, here's the reasons why, the court grants it, and then you would file the redacted things with the court giving the order to seal. Counsel would then be served contemporaneously with access either to Pacer or actual service.
Black Irish, thank you for this.
And you go about the cases you normally would. If you have to wait that long anyway, in which case 2 weeks would have gone by regardless without you having access to it. So there's that.
Again, there just wasn't any real urgency there. He was like proposing a hypothetical that really didn't affect him in like any way. So I just don't get it. Like, basically, the only person he didn't know was somebody whose affidavit, by his own standard, had nothing to do with the case. So he wouldn't even depose it. He like didn't care, right? It's like literally he's just gonna argue that it's irrelevant. Yeah. So like he was basically like conjuring a scenario that could feasibly hurt somebody at some time and trying to get his community like riled up about it and angry in his favor. But
someone asked if could you argue that having this no, not really, because the lawyers would only be able to no work to be done there. Increments or by tenths of an hour.
Celebrate.
So are not only working on a particular case, there's no work to be done on that.
Toya, thank you very much. That's crazy. Maybe consider not drinking and hanging out.
Running the clock to run the clock.
Well, good luck.
Now, what you could argue in the best case scenario is that the urgency is necessary in order to get everything together for a timely service of a summary judgment motion or a motion to dismiss.
Entering close quarters!
Not wasting the court's time, but I don't think you're going to necessarily get that one either. That's so great now! On a difference.
Target's wounded!
I wasn't looking at Twitch chat.
No mercy!
Hello?
I muted my mic for you guys. Whoops. That's my bad. No, I said thank you to Toya, who donated while he was talking. I didn't want to cut him off, so I just let the dono play while he was talking, unfortunately.
All right, I'm going to hop out. I yapped enough. Have fun.
We'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Fucking lunatic! You killed them all!
It feels
Yeah.
Right in the head!
Okay. Hold on. I'm setting up my Rally Penguin right now. We got a Rally Penguin going? He's on the phone, but listen, when he comes back, there will be a Rally Penguin, I believe. Yes. It is very appropriate also, which is very interesting. Look at that. Look at the penguin with the glasses. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. Oh my god.
Wait, I learned the name of this penguin the other day.
A king
It had a really
penguin?
funny name.
A macaroni penguin. A macaroni penguin.
Yes, macaroni.
Macaroni. All right. Cool. Where were we? I was reading these messages. I have not lied about anything. The emails you posted further illustrate my point. I suggest you reread your objection your legal counsel filed. Your legal team asked to file unredacted versions before the seal was granted or strike them from the record. If this is truly a civil rights problem, why even suggest withdrawing so strike them from the record? Wouldn't the demand only be to know the identities? So strike them from the record if they remain private. Further, plaintiffs' reliance on Rule 26C1 of the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure and 15 U.S.C. 6851 is entirely misplaced, so those authorities have no bearing on her motion to file under seal. Rule 26 pertains to seeking a protective order in connection with discovery. Apparently, Kelly said, you know, ChatGPT told her that there are ways this has been used in discovery, or not
heard you had a
discovery,
gig for me.
in terms of motions.
You heard right.
So,
Alright,
I need a driver.
of civil procedure. 26C1, Kelly also read the federal rules for the specific section.
And for what
the code
exactly?
section provides that the court may grant injunctive relief maintaining the
this and
confidentiality of
that.
the plaintiff
I got a
using
few
the
errands to
pseudonym.
run.
15 U.S.C.
Couple of friends that need paying a
6851B3B. Neither is
The
applicable
usual.
here.
Listen,
Well, no, the
I'm a
answer
straight
is
shooter,
ChatGPT is a tool,
so let me cut
so it
right
can
to the
only be as
chase.
good as the things you
I
input
heard you're
into
the
it.
best in
You
town.
spur into it.
also-
Thing is, I like
Then you
working with the
spur.
best.
Well, oh, no.
And
Also,
I
if
know
you
the
just
best
literally,
don't
if you
come
put something
cheap.
into it and it gives you an answer,
I'm not
and you
gonna
just
get
double-check
into
the
the
answer
nuts
against
and
the actual
bolts,
like rules of
'cause
civil procedure.
if what they say
Right?
about
That's
you is
pretty
true,
easy. Pretty easy
But
to
what
do.
I will
You can
say is,
handle anything.
I do pay for the subscription
let's get
model,
this
which is the better
settled.
one. But also,
You got what it
I
takes.
input the PDFs of the
Or are they
court
wrong
filings,
about
and
you?
it actually predicted which rule Pixie's team
Right.
would be using
I'm in.
before I put in the
Japantown
PDF that
then,
had that
by the market
rule
entrance.
in it. So
Give a
it
few
correctly
honks and I'll stroll
predicted
up.
it, and then it explained
V.
it to me too, which is quite good.
Cool. I found it pretty useful for legal stuff, but obviously you have to go through and read, and I don't ever, or I try not to use it unless I'm actually going to go through and make sure that when I read the rules themselves, they're like working as I expect, or they
Yeah.
or function.
I
as
mean,
expect.
if you're a retard, you're gonna get answers and also not be able to process any of the information. So again, it's just a tool. You should always double check any information that's given to you. But that's the whole point of anything, isn't it? You should double check stuff. Things can be wrong in books. They can be wrong online. It's honestly just to ChatGPT.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So Destiny continues. The demand is made because your lawyers are suggesting they can file secret declarants to the court to support their motions and then simply withdraw them if the court denies their motion to seal without relating anything to us. You have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know why you're tweeting about this. This could possibly be a problem, but it literally didn't happen. And Destiny's trying to blow it up into like an urgent issue instead of just being like, oh yeah, the court will provide me the identities anyway, which definitely would have just happened, and now it's a mood issue entirely. So I don't know why he actually feels the need to try to make it urgent. Sorry, I do know why. It's because he's desperate to shape narratives, and there are a lot of people who are desperate to have his cum dribbled in their mouth in terms of feeding fed narratives from him. So like this guy's in a lot of the replies. Where's the other guy? The Conroe, the Ben Shapiro guy. That guy is just the most. Jesus.
I need to go through these tweets and preemptively block these people. What absolute mouth-breathing spurgs.
Always with the cum analogies. Well, if it's the only thing Destiny can think about, and we're trying to think like a predator would think, unfortunately, this is where we have to go split kitty lit. Sometimes when you stare into the abyss stares back, and it's fairly disgusting.
I just
really,
came
I
back.
suggest you
Whoa,
look at the stream.
I'm a penguin!
Yeah, it's got eyebrows.
Yes.
I look like the from Surf's Up!
Yeah, exactly. Macaroni penguin.
It's a macaroni penguin.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I learned
Apparently,
that the other
yeah.
day.
I love macaroni. You got glasses.
Yeah,
Good.
we're just, I don't know if you watched any of Destiny's coverage of this, but he basically suggested multiple times that, 1 second. Plant Dad, thanks for the notification, the reminder. But so he claimed multiple times that he believes Pixie's lawyers are getting people to perjure themselves, or possibly I'm getting people to perjure themselves for this case. It's fairly insane, but that's why That's why he wants sanctions for Pixie's lawyers, because they violated all the rules apparently, and also they're like supporting people perjuring themselves to keep the case going. So he wants them to be sanctioned. I would love to see, going forward, if they will be sanctioned.
Supporting people perjuring themselves? How?
I don't know. He seems to have some theory here for. No, he didn't really elaborate.
Oh,
no.
Right?
Yeah, it's a little crazy. I don't know what it means. I wish I did. Hold on, I need to.
Yeah, that would be informative, I guess.
If they are sanctioned, no, Roger, that was I thought things were a certain way, but they're not really that way. Listen, I had a personal reason for not wanting to cover it, but actually that personal reason was totally wrong, and I thought about it for a little bit more than 1 second, and that was just really stupid on my part. So pretend it didn't happen.
Wait,
Listen,
what didn't happen?
Oh, I said I wasn't going to cover Destiny stuff as much anymore, but then I had to listen to him like totally lie about a whole bunch of things, and I was like, oh, no. It's just so frustrating when I have to listen to this guy like lie about random shit. It's very bothersome. I get very irritated. Very, very irritated. I actually don't know if they'll be sanctioned. They could be sanctioned for not following the rules of civil procedure, for not providing contemporaneous copies to opposing counsel. Possible.
It seems very unlikely now, because of all the reasons that I've said like 3 times, which Gisticle seems very skeptical of, and the fact esports Batman said the same thing, and also one other guy.
He didn't say it wasn't a problem. He didn't say it wasn't a problem. He just said it was unlikely. It could still be a problem.
No, but for the same reasons that like the federal rule trumps the stupid local rule. There's no reason to care anymore about it. It's kind of dumb.
Yeah. Here, I turned the shading off for the avatars then. Basically, on. Yes, we'll do that.
Why do I have a lazy eye?
There it is. Because you're like kind of like a nerd, I think. Oh no, the eye is kind of lazy actually. I think it's basically taking your old avatar and it uses like some AI thing to like switch it over to a different avatar. So it's like supposed to be as well. And there's something about the eyes there that got messed
Loud
up.
and clear. Don't need to yell. What's up?
I
don't believe so.
Is this foreshadowing real life?
I don't believe so.
That'd make sense.
Well, this is so annoying. I can't like view Destiny's quote tweets because he's be blocked. He's not gonna block Pixie. Why does he
Didn't think big parties were your thing.
Yeah, well, it ain't a big, but
Have you been really? Are you back in Arizona now, I think?
It's actually very nice.
Try selling iron straight from the factory. Skip the whole part where you tinker for hours on each little shoot.
big.
I like it.
My
Is there
dick
somewhere in
please.
like Arizona specifically? Do you have like family and stuff there?
Sure, I'm in. When?
It's just hot
Right now.
We'll
wait on it. See ya.
It's a dry heat. Unlike dog shit pasta. It's just like consistent. And also, there's just not as much bugs. I feel like Austin, there's a ton of bugs. Here, there's just not as much. Honestly, kind of basics.
Bugs can't
I think I
live
prefer
in
Washington,
zero humidity, I'm guessing. They just dry out all the time.
Oh yeah, he blocked Jacob's private Instagram. Despite never having like interacted with him on it. It like swears Instagram just to block him. It's so funny. Oh, he's such a petty freak.
Yeah, so I think we've covered all the tweets. I don't know if there's, I feel like there's probably other like if we go and look at just Pixie's replies, I'm guessing would be ridiculous. Let's see here. I know withdrawing and striking are not the same, but the consequence would be effectively the same. He would still not get the names in the alternative scenario his legal team suggested. What Destiny says he's okay with versus what his lawyers are filed are two very different things. Oh, cool. The distinction doesn't matter. Destiny's team said he keep the names under seal or strike the declarations. No, they said file them automatically before they're under seal. That's what they said. It's literally a certain thing. The foregoing reasons we now request the court deny plaintiff's motion to file under seal and order the plaintiff to file unrelated versions of the declarations or strike them from the record. That's what it says here. Why is this person just lying? This person's just lying. That guy's just a liar. This guy just doesn't understand. He's just, you know what? I totally this guy is totally deep under it right for me.
So they even like 2 seconds, like we need to make some songs. It's just
No, all EGGers are far too big to come in like arguing these things ever. Very sad.
But did you see the very violent person was trying to do that?
Very violent?
Very violent.
Oh, is that a username?
Low IQ.
Yeah, it's a
retard.
username.
Yes.
Damn. What were they trying to do, Kelly? Go.
Trying to make it. I mean, I just like cue the argument.
Very violent is one of the biggest idiots I've ever seen. Yeah. felt bad telling them, like, before Desi published this little thing. It's like, it's just gonna try to, like, muddy the waters and call Pixie up. You understand that, right? It's going to work on you, by the way. I literally told them, it's going to work on you. You are not strong enough to, like, resist going back there. You are too lonely in real life. You don't have anything going on. You will just go back to DGG. They're like, no, I won't. And then they were like, oh, implied consent? Oh, that's a real thing. I'm just trying to take it for 13 months. Appreciate it, buddy. Hold on. Okay, Kelly was a doctor, now she's a lawyer. God, you are so dumb. Can you please support your claim with evidence? The argument is that Dr. Kelly.
This guy. A couple of people actually in my Twitter today were class. Normally it's like pure. There are a few people like demanding other people like actually.
First, the timeline is important. Plaintiff's lawyers suggested that they didn't have to send his lawyers the names of people at all. Defendant's lawyers made these weak arguments, but in response, the lawyer's suggestion of a unilateral breaking procedure. Unilaterally redacting, as if that's not a thing, was really funny too. That is absolutely a thing, because they have to file under seal. So redacting things until the motion to seal is rolled on. That's actually in the rules, so this is kind of dumb. But no, they didn't. At no point did they say that the defendant's counsel would never receive the names, just that they would not share unredacted versions until it was request. They should have shared the unredacted versions with counsel and redacted it publicly. So the rules say they should, but there are exceptions there. Like that, sorry, if there was no other considerations, the rules say yes, but there are other considerations. And do you know when the punctuation marks why? Defendant's lawyers made these weak arguments, but prior suggestion of unilateral whatever. This is not an entertaining argument. The use of 26C is quite literally to request exception in the first place, or granted the request, meaning the process was unlawful. This is like there are slightly different things here going on, Kelly, right? 26C is the reason I believe they get the motion passed, but not the reason that they don't file, that they don't give the unredacted copies to the other party. So they're like
it's about the protective orders and the things relating to those, yes. But that's what this conversation was about if you actually bother to read the first tweet. Okay, calm down. You didn't bother to read the first tweet.
You selling new or used threads?
Okay,
used.
This one?
Nobody's willing to ship any new stock all the way out here.
26C1.
But
And
who
the
am
judge
I to
disagreed and
complain?
ruled in your favor.
You just have-
We can assume the reason why is partly
Looking
due
for
to
some
poor
decent
behavior.
outerwear.
The kind of ego he has to assume he knows
Good
more than
luck.
you do is honestly quite funny.
Yes, I was talking about that
Just
to
copy
start
paste it?
with. So if somebody engages me in this thread, that's what I'm going to be talking about.
Okay.
And this is like the federal rule, not the local rule, which is more important. So don't care.
Dr. Kelly JD, let's go. While the location of Rule 26 is in the discovery section gives surface plausibility to their claim, courts have long interpreted 26C more broadly when parties are seeking to protect sensitive witness identities, explicit or highly personal information, threats of harassment or retaliation. And it's especially common to invoke Rule 26C even outside of formal discovery, such as when attaching declarations to motions, when dealing with pseudonymous plaintiffs or third-party witnesses, during early injunctive relief proceedings. Oh, it's like all of those. Crazy. Cool.
Yeah, no shit. Wow. That's how you use chat properly.
And again, this would be why you can redact the things, but I don't think this is necessarily why you wouldn't provide unredacted copies contemporaneously. I think that's a separate argument, but it's fine.
I'm not talking about that specifically, am I? Just talking about what I'm talking about.
What are you talking about, Kelly?
Other people are spogging at me and arguing about some other things, but I'm always going to be referring to what my point was originally, and they can lump it off.
Off. True. All right. Oh, hold on. We got a fixed eye here. Hold on. Wait, Top Bronson, with the fixed eye, does it not blink anymore? I don't see this guy blinking. I like blinking with the lazy eye. Oh, no, it does blink. Never mind. Hold on. I'm fixing Relly's lazy eye. Give me a second,
Don't make
guys.
fun of my lazy eye, man. I'm sensitive.
Fix this lazy eye now. Hold on.
My opinion of
Get your
Kelly
hands
changes
off
every
of me, you
day.
animal.
Me too. Here, I'm gonna smack you upside the head a little bit.
Opinion today. I'm scared to ask.
Okay. I think we're good. Eye is fixed. Eye is now fixed. Perfect. We're good.
I would just look high.
Yeah.
It's an important call I gotta take, by the way.
It's almost like it's tinted red. Okay. All right. See ya. Okay.
What the heck?
You fixed my lazy eye now? I cannot. All right. What else was there around this? I forget what we were looking at. We decided to look at this. I can't remember why. Okay. Oh, yes. What I wanted to do was read, I've got 2 cases that I might want to read a little bit through, okay? Cyber linked me 1, which is, oh, you linked this tweet here. Okay, Cyber linked me 1, which is apparently used to, like, basically something was posted before a certain date. And let me see here, this guy, Motion 8. I want to give this a read in just a second. I'm trying to think of anything else we could talk about here, though. I'm not totally sure, but this will be what comes up next. Just give me 2. I'll be right back, Kelly. Sorry. Use the bathroom and get some water here. I'm totally going dry. No water.
I have made not 1, but 2 separate videos claiming that Blank's game design is outdated. And while I'm very proud of those videos, and I pretty confidently stand by those critiques, I wasn't planning on ever using the same outdated title again because I just didn't want it to become this gross YouTuber-y series where I'm just the outdated guy.
What is up, gamers? Welcome back to part 39 of Outdated Stuff. Today, we're going to be taking a look at this expired banana on my counter. If that ain't outdated, then you better call the dog catcher because it must be raining cats and dogs out here. But when thinking about the past 10 years of Bethesda Game Studios' catalog, Fallout 4, Fallout 76, a billion more versions of Skyrim, and now Starfield,
there is not a more succinct or accurate word to describe how I feel about these games. I have personally made things that some people did not like and criticized, and that's great. Honestly, that's fine. That's exactly how it should be. Why am I saying that right now?
Just to say that I know what it feels like. I want to make it clear that I have a lot of respect and appreciation for the hardworking individual devs that crunch 12-hour days to release AAA games on time that we all get to play.
Thank you for making video games, everyone who makes video games out here in the prairie.
So I promise I don't mean to be hyperbolic or dramatic just for the sake of it when I say I am truly baffled by Starfield. It is seriously shocking to see just how little this game attempts to improve or even successfully reuse the same formula and same Frankenstein game engine that Bethesda have been selling to their fans for well over a decade. I cannot understand how this is the space adventure Todd Howard has dreamt of making for 25 years and cooked in the oven for 8.
But I wanted to try. I really wanted to understand. I wanted to love this troubled game so badly.
And I stayed committed to this relationship for hours and hours and hours, ignoring every possible red flag that came my way. But I can't do it anymore, and I feel like I have to make this video just purely for my own sanity.
No, this one is for me, because this damn space game changed me. Often describe Bethesda games as Bethesda games, but what does that even mean?
In 2011, I would have said open world action RPG where you can go anywhere, do anything, good or evil, knight or wizard, but you're definitely gonna be a sneak archer like every single time without fail. To me, it meant giant world with total player freedom to do what they wanted to do. Don't like someone? Shoot them in the face. Want someone's stuff? Sneak behind the wings. Want to climb that mountain?
Fallout 3 was my first big game after computer.
Nah, dude, it's not violent at all. You don't have to be violent. You can choose to be good and talk your way out of every situation.
Which was total fucking bullcrap.
Yes, these games might be RPGs, but they heavily lean on the action part of action RPG. Can you sometimes do quests non-violently? Definitely. But more often than not, your to-do list revolves around you killing people and things and spiders and ghouls, and there's usually not a whole lot of wiggle room around that part. A lot of the time, your choices are boiled down to, okay, so do you want to set them on fire first and then shoot them, or just do them raw? If you play Fallout New Vegas made by Obsidian, those are some RPG-ass RPG choices, where I feel like the player has way more freedom to express themselves morally, ethically, whatever, in a given quest. But as much as I gush about New Vegas on this channel, there is something missing in this game when compared to Fallout 3.
Atmosphere. I think Bethesda typically crushes that shit.
Even though New Vegas is a much better game mechanically, Betty's World felt a lot more engrossing to explore. Even if a lot of the supposed freedom promised to the player is kind of an illusion. You know, you can't actually kill anyone if they're an essential NPC for a quest line. They just take a nap on the floor. Still, Bethesda does a really good job of making you feel like you're on this grand adventure.
And the soundtracks, dude, oh my god, the Skyrim soundtrack alone might be up there with Chrono Trigger for like the greatest video game score ever made.
All of these songs make you feel like you're living inside of an ancient blade made of suede.
Oh my god, I'm getting really fucking tired of always coming home to this
Hey V,
saying some
about to
more
start.
stupid crap.
Gonna take a piss or something? Now's the time.
Thanks for your concern. Let's start this rodeo.
Does it make you want to go
Can't just yet, not till you get in the range. Go on, set up, chop chop.
Browser for gamers that you can customize. In the GX store located over here, you can get a variety of browser mods, such as my own, that have their own background music, keyboard sounds, opening and closing of tab sounds, theme and color of the browser itself, unique wallpaper. You can also disable and enable specific mods in the mods menu located on the sidebar. Does your web browser keep you informed?
Alrighty, how many we got? Just 6?
GX corner located over here. Upper GX will keep you up to date with
we're crying about it.
the best deals, the hottest new releases.
Rules are simple, right? There's the target, shoot it.
Look at this.
No matter which one, go on and shoot your neighbor.
Most
hits win.
Look at that.
Meaning the hits on the target, not your neighbor.
Losing all your stuff from those other browsers.
Small caliber iron only. Don't go showing off with your fucking assault bangers or no rocket pukers, got me? First prize is a pistol. But, a real nice one. Fucking nice, I'm telling you. Anyway,
special link located here or down below. You'll also have access to a unique feature.
Ready?
You'll see all of my 12 most recent videos
3,
in your GX corner. So
2.
you'll never miss it when I upload.
The hell's that? What the hell are you doing with that double barrel? It says small caliber only.
Thanks again to Mr. GX.
Forgot my iron.
This video. Now let's
Must be
get
my
on
other
back to
jacket.
Whatever the hell Super Nakio Jinkio
The holster. A holster! Get the fuck out of my sight now!
120 of them.
Fuck, Toon.
Chill.
I'm going.
But because Bethesda games are so unique,
Pearls
and so
before swine, for
beloved
fuck's
by
sake.
so many fans, people often give them a free pass when it comes to certain issues because, it's a Bethesda game. What are you gonna do? Issues such as dated melee combat,
3,
and extremely dated gun
2,
combat, even for the top
1.
brain dead enemy AI. There always have to be fixed in mods. Optimization and performance issues always have to be fixed in mods. Enough bugs to fill a fucking Terrarium always have to be fixed with mods. If any other AAA shooters have the same issues that Fallout 3 had, the guns barely even function.
Hit the target, not the wall.
Like spells from the sleeve.
Looking good, Rudy. Go, go, go!
Saved too many times. Don't do that. People would lie. But issues are part of the giant package.
Halfway there, B. Get a grip for fuck's sake.
People just kind of
The hell was that, Lisa? Get your glasses?
maybe the 2000, maybe some of this stuff. It is not
15 seconds. Last chance, B.
In a post-Skyrim world where they have re-released everything so many times and sold over
Nothing like the smell of powder and hot.
Bethesda games.
Stop! Everyone stop!
Was when
We're
I
done.
could no longer stay blind to Bethesda's strong reluctance to leave the caveman Stone Age.
First place, Rudy.
You can still feel all
Second,
of the typical
V.
creation jank
Rest your
underneath
bush league,
everything.
punks.
You still
Learn
had
to
edit
shoot.
AI
Get out of my
to change
sight.
the FOV or turn off mouse acceleration. The physics were still tied to the frame rate. The load times could still
Hey,
go on for an
you
eternity.
okay?
But hey, at least they made
Something
guns function
wrong?
like kind of actual
Ain't a
guns
damn
this
thing
time,
that's
which
right.
should be the bare
Contest didn't
minimum
do
for a
shit.
first-person shooter
Didn't
in
sell a
2015.
goddamn thing.
Meanwhile,
Nothing.
Halo
Should try
14
not
getting
calling
ready
potential
for
buyers
winter
Bush
formal.
League.
Simple things for a shooter like swapping weapons or throwing grenades
Fuck!
felt super
That's something you
unresponsive
gotta
and wonky,
respect.
Like the game
Don't know
was
how to
constantly
shoot? Don't
fighting
do
you
it!
on every delayed
Ugh.
input. And again, 2015. This wasn't like a long time ago. But man, I still playing the shit out of this game, and it is Fallout 4 is the most bare bones RPG. Where Fallout New Vegas went left toward old school traditional Fallout games, Fallout 4 was like, all right, so it's kind of like janky Minecraft but with guns, which turns out
is actually pretty fun. The gameplay loop of exploring a detailed Bethesda world filled with cool stuff, getting loot and supplies from fighting baddies and using VATs, using those supplies to upgrade your guns, working on your settlements with the janky-ass builder that also has to be fixed with mods, it was all pretty fun to me. Objectively, my critic brain is like, yeah, this game has a lot of flaws and the dialogue system really sucks and the perk tree sucks and the role-playing options are basically non-existent. And the main story makes like zero sense if you stop and think about it, because if someone was searching for their kidnapped baby son, why would they stop and help a bunch of other families first and eat 100 rad roaches? But subjectively, my Bethesda brain is like, ooh, boy, I better scrounge up some more of these desk fans. Even with all its jank, and there is a lot of jank in Fallout 4, like any area downtown just straight up doesn't run well at all. For what it was, I had fun with Fallout 4. But what it was unfortunately a very crystal clear sign that Bethesda was falling behind the times harder than ever before. Also, I went to kindergarten and first grade here and walked home from school one day and realized we got out early because of 9/11. I don't know why I'm talking about that right now. I wish I could say I was shocked when Fallout 76 turned out to be shit from a butt, but dude, I wasn't shocked at all. Not trying to be on some cool guy shit, but the second I saw the reveal presentation and how it was gonna run on the same janky ass engine that barely manages to work as a single player game, and now it's gonna be multiplayer online, like www.com type online, yeah, Todd, and I'll be a monkey's uncle. Oh, my sweet bimbo, you have returned. You all know this story. Game comes out, one of the worst launches ever, bug terrarium is like 16 times the detail. Bethesda gets super scummy about refunds and then gets super scummy about pushing these overly priced microtransactions, also cheaps out on the canvas bag that's supposed to be included in the collector's edition. It was awful. Fallout 76 is like the poster child for taking advantage of a devout fan base and releasing a clearly unfinished faulty
Who do I
product.
spy?
I see a lot of people online chalk up 76's failure to, well, it wasn't Todd and his main team that made the game. It was their B team, Bethesda Austin, but I'm pretty sure that's not the full story. According to several anonymous devs that worked on 76, as quoted in this Kotaku article that you should check out, people from multiple Bethesda studios worked on this game. Senior staff from Fallout 4's team, staff taken away from the Starfield team, staff taken away from the Redfall team at Arcane, which, Jesus Christ, that's a whole thing on its own. Jiminy Cricket and a jockstrap. 76, as described in this article, sounded like a massive live service black hole that no one wanted to touch, because the writing was all over the bug-covered walls that it was never going to end well. But in typical AAA game dev fashion, QA teams get treated like total shit and upper management ignores issues raised and continue to force everyone to crunch toward this deadline they knew they were never gonna make. And yeah, Todd Howard may have not directed 76, but he's still listed as executive producer. And he's the one that went on the big stage and was like, this is the biggest fucking game we've ever made. It's 16 times awesome. You're all gonna nut. Yo, run that John Denver joint. And the pre-orders go crazy and everyone's hyped out of their minds. And then it comes out and it's atrocious. And suddenly now Todd is all, yeah, we knew it wasn't gonna be like a high Metacritic score game, but you know what? It sold really well. It's not about how it starts, it's about what it becomes. Thank you very much. Yo, run that John Denver joint. Come on, man. According to that same article, Todd was very adamant on the whole no NPCs feature, no matter how much the dev team pleaded that it was an insane choice for Bethesda. You know, the studio most closely associated with NPCs. But also, maybe Todd isn't the main bad guy responsible, you know? Maybe he was just under a lot of pressure from big money investors at parent company ZeniMax to make a live service cash cow that would exploit fans and inevitably make a ton of money. I don't know all the details, but there's enough breadcrumbs to make it insane to me that someone along the food chain with authority, whether Todd or otherwise, didn't stop and adamantly scream, "Hey, let's maybe delay this game permanently." But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. Regardless of whose fault 76 was, the damage was done and the pressure was on. After an underwhelming and outdated Fallout 4 and an underbaked and severely malnourished Fallout 76, Bethesda really needed to reach for the Skyrim once again and dunk another classic into our laps. But Todd, you don't play basketball. He plays chess.
Kid, I was writing games when I was, 12, whatever. And the other kids in the block would say, you know, I'm gonna play quarterback for the Cowboys. And I'd be like, I'm gonna make video games and everyone's gonna play them. Like, you dork, go back to the chess club. Who's laughing now? Yes, I was in the chess club.
It's hard not to like Todd Howard. He has this Michael Scott type charisma that's weirdly hard to resist.
And I find his story of repeatedly applying to Bethesda only to be rejected over and over really inspiring.
Because once he got his leather jacket ass wearing through that door, he would direct Morrowind, executive produce Oblivion, direct both Fallout 3 and Skyrim. Love him or hate him, the man's resume speaks for itself. And good God, would you look at that jacket. For being considered AAA, Bethesda is not a very big studio. Around 100 people made Skyrim, and they currently only employ like 420 people across all of their studios. For comparison, at least 1,000 people worked on GTA 5
gun owner, I hope.
and 6,000 different people have worked on it since, which is crazy to me considering how slow GTA Online still is.
On the one hand, I think it's really impressive that Bethesda is much smaller than other big-name studios because it means they must have some really powerful paladins over there casting some serious buffs.
But also, when you're making that AAA money and your games continue to come out janky as shit,
maybe hire some more fucking people to make your games actually function properly when you sell them for $70.
One source from that same article.
What have you got for
Bethesda
sale?
is a big company.
Only top shelf gear.
With a mentality of, well, this worked in the 90s, so we're just gonna keep doing it. I mean, yeah, after playing Starfield, that's definitely what it feels like. Boy, I'll tell you what, I booted that sumbitch up. It was like seeing an X for the first time in 8 years, a poorly optimized X who struggles to have human-like facial expression. Starfield isn't even just Skyrim again, but in space, which was always Todd's elevator pitch. No, it would be such an improvement if it was. But no, this is not a Bethesda game based on the definition the dumbass by the piano gave earlier. That signature Bethesda open world exploration and sense of scale and freedom and that feeling of, ooh, there's something interesting around every corner.
Gone.
But Jarbo! There's like 1,000 planets. How can it get any more open world than that? Yeah, and you want to know what you do on 99% of those 1,000 planets?
This. You walk, and walk, and walk, and sprint, and jump, and jetpack jump, and get really good at watching your O2 sprint meter go up and down and up and down. There is no rover to drive. There is no ship to fly. You just walk
What's
and
going
walk
on?
and walk until you
I
get
live
to
right
the most
upstairs.
copy-pasted
Keep on living.
structure
Stop
you've
minding
already
other people's
seen
biz.
a bunch of times.
And Dad, hold on. It's his neighbor.
Player 2 controller.
Is there anything I can do?
It is the illusion
Maybe.
of planetary exploration.
Do you know Barry at all?
Together by
More or
1,000
less.
loading screens and
Struck up a
strong
convo once or
desire to
twice.
waste so much
He's a
of
friend
your
from the
time.
precinct. Left the force not long ago. He broke down after his best friend died. We're worried he'll do something stupid.
Relax, Patrol. Barry's got nerves. He's just a spiteful old bastard.
Mendez! Could you check on him when he's chilled down? Sure, why not? Not like we're miles apart. Thanks. Just be patient. Cops falling in rough times can be touchy. I'll see what I can do.
No, wasting my time? Yes, 2023?
Hey, Barry? Everything all right in there?
Oh no! Can you say leather jacket?
In other Bethesda games, you wanted to walk to your destinations because fast-traveling meant you might miss out on some unique dungeon or cool, unique structure or wacky enemy along the way.
Not only is fast travel highly recommended whenever possible in Starfield, but it is straight up required.
You cannot fly your ship from planet to planet or even on a single planet. You can enter your ship with a nice loading screen and then sit in your pilot's chair with a nice unskippable animation and then take off with another nice loading screen and then pick your destination from space and fast travel there with another loading screen and then click on the planet to land with another loading screen. Or if your destination is in space, do another unskippable animation to dock your ship followed by another immediate loading screen. But hopefully if you've already discovered the specific location you want to go to, you can just fast travel straight there. The second I realized I was avoiding my ship whenever possible, you know, the central core part of a space exploration game, it was over. The most heartbreaking part is that the shipbuilder is fucking amazing. It's like virtual Legos. It is by far the best new thing Bethesda did with this game. But where do you get to fly your ship that you just lovingly spent 3 hours making? In orbit! Yay!
Let's fucking go!
If you want to see your magnificent creation actually move around, then fast travel on up to space and float around fighting bad guys and running away from cops with the awful bounty system, which I will get to later. I will spend way too much time talking about that later. What's really weird is that between the different elements you can mine on planets and the different things you can prioritize within the shipbuilder, there's enough breadcrumbs here to assume that at one point Starfield was probably more of a survival type space game, meaning that landing on a planet maybe served more of a purpose than just sort of wandering around aimlessly. Maybe the temperature changes in extreme conditions actually mattered more than they currently do, which is like not really at all. The shipbuilder even has options to upgrade the fuel tanks or grav drive so that you can jump further into a system, but if you don't upgrade those things, that's fine too. You'll just have to fast travel to a closer system first and then fast travel to the one you actually want to go to. So upgrading that stuff in your ship just saves you from seeing 2 loading screens, and now you only see 1. How is this game real?
Starfield has 1,000 planets, and I wish it had like 5.
Yeah, not every planet in real life space would have a bunch of cool stuff on it either.
Yeah, duh, but that's not my point.
My point is that this is not really a good illusion of anything other than the unfortunate passage of time. No Man's Sky can also have some boring-ass procedurally generated planets, but you know what? At least you can actually fly to them. Playing Starfield is like watching a magician pull a rabbit out of a hat, but every time he's about to do it, he's like, no, you gotta close your eyes while I do it though. But what about performance? I'm not a Best Buy Geek Squad looking ass. Don't say I am. Starfield may have been made with the shiny new creation engine too, but you ain't fooling anyone with that too, Todd. You may have slapped a spoiler on it, but it's still a fucking Geo Metro. I'm still editing an INI file just to change the FOV or turn off mouse acceleration to make aiming feel better. I'm still clicking on doors and seeing that all too familiar fade out loading screen all the time.
Why did you not optimize this game for PC?
We did. It's running great. It is a next-gen PC game. We really do push the technology, so you may need to upgrade your PC for this game, but it's got a lot of great stuff going on in it, and the fans are responding awesome.
All right, Todd, I upgraded my PC, but I still can't turn on HDR or even mess with the brightness settings, even though the Xbox version already has HDR. And you get a decent frame rate, I have to use upscaling, but I have an NVIDIA card and you only have FSR supported with no DLSS. Oh, someone already modded DLSS into the game within like a couple days? Oh, programmers are making comprehensive breakdowns on Reddit detailing just how poorly optimized the game is?
Nah, if Todd said it's optimized, then it's probably optimized. I believe him. I will follow my north brother into the pearly gates of Southern God and finally graze my hands upon that holy leather.
Breaking news, as of November 15th, Bethesda is finally patching Starfield, adding an FOV slider, poorly implemented HDR, and much-needed DLSS support. Along with clear massive performance gains for both CPU and GPU areas, it's almost as if the game did in fact launch very unoptimized. The timing couldn't be better, 2 months after everyone already stopped playing it.
This game hurts my stupid giant head. I can't understand it. I can't seem to do anything right after experiencing this so-called game. Oh my god, I didn't even bring that up yet. God damn it.
In Starfield, you can build settlements, and you have more freedom than ever with the builder, but there's not a whole lot of motivators to interact with it other than harvesting resources from a planet largely void of life. Add that to the super confusing structure of actually trying to connect your settlements across star systems and all the fast travel screens in between and your ship cargo and your inventory and getting over encumbered and ugh. Fallout 4 wasn't fun because the builder was good. Hell no. It's janky as hell and super frustrating. But it was fun because you were bringing life back into the apocalypse and building off of really cool existing unique structures so that the dumbass settlers could take back the land. But all of that was powered by the initial core desire of actually wanting to go out and explore and shoot stuff.
Oh yeah, that's right. You shoot guns in this game. Starfield also has guns.